Um, Frank's doing pretty good, so we'll see where he's at today. Let him practice more. Hutch ought to be okay. He'll practice today. Swift, we're just going to kind of monitor. I think he's fine. We just want to be smart about it going into the game. And I don't see Jonah practicing today, so I think that's about it. Questions?
Just how big of a boost is that to get Frank back? Obviously, Evan has played really well anytime he's stepped in there, but Frank's your Pro Bowl guy. Just what kind of a boost is that to get him back in the middle there?
Yeah, it's good. Listen, I don't want to go that far yet. I mean, it's certainly a step in the right direction. I would say it's trending that way, but yeah, we want to see how he does today, and then we'll wake up tomorrow and see where he's at. But certainly, if he could come back, it certainly helps. It'd be good to get him back.
Hutchinson, obviously a rookie, missing practice time. I don't know if that's a big deal, missing 2 days just because he's young. Is there any concern?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you want guys practicing. I mean, it doesn't. It's always better to practice, so you get the looks, the live looks. But I'm not concerned, because he's mentally, he's in it. He's a visual learner. He'll be able to see it, and there again, he'll run around today, and they'll do some, work some of those, our games and things of that nature and our fits. And so I don't feel like it's a concern. It's always better if you can practice, though, to get it real and live.
Jeff Okudah has played pretty well, obviously, through 2 weeks. Just in your estimation, has he lost anything physically from before the injury? And what leads you to believe like he's on this track and will stay on this track that I guess continue?
Yeah, no, there is nothing physically that he's lost. I mean, he looks great. Physically, I think that he can run. He's explosive. He's using his length. He's you guys see it. There's nothing that's been lost. So, and what gives me hope that he'll continue to trend upwards is just from the time we were here late in the spring to now, just to see, there was a couple of things we identified. He wanted to know with AG and myself and AP, and we talked about it, and it's something that he's attacked every day. And so to this point, there's nothing that would lead us to believe that he's not going to continue to trend. And he's still, every game, this is money in the bank. He's learning, he's growing, he's putting in the reps, and so he's only going to just get better and better.
Speaking of kind of the test that this is for these guys, you got a lot of rookies hitting the road for the first time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Minnesota's coming off a loss. They're going to be coming out, trying to bounce back. Just What type of test is this for this team on the road in this environment with this type of team?
Yeah, look, it's a huge test because it's the first one. It's the first road game, and this is something that we have a lot of urgency about us. I feel like this week we need to, this is big. We need to try to set the tempo for ourselves, and it starts on the road, division game. Of course, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hostile. It shouldn't be easy, and those guys are going to be ready to go. They're going to get back to what they do best, and we know that. But man, it goes back to we got to be able to handle this pressure on the road, because that's really what it comes down to. Collectively, when you go on the road, there is a certain amount of pressure that is applied, and how do we handle that overall? And that's something we've been talking about for a long time now. So we are young, but we'll see where we're at.
Particularly with the offensive line, probably still going to be down both guard starters, obviously. So, what are the challenges playing in such a hostile, loud environment for a group that doesn't have a whole lot of chemistry and cohesion quite yet?
Yeah, look, it's there again. It's just the silent cadence is the big thing, and it is the little things. You're in the huddle, you're trying to hear the play. Did I hear that right? What did he say? Hearing it, being sharp, clear communication. Really, everything starts with golf, and so really the last 2 days we've just had the music cranked nonstop. normally you do it and then you hold up cards so everybody can hear, and we've just left it up so that you're trying to get personnel out there. Everybody's trying to communicate, and it's a mess in a good way. And I thought Goff has handled it really well, and I thought our players handled it well yesterday. But that's about as good as you can do to this point, is just try to put them under that stress. And because I just go back to this, if we can handle that offensively, I feel good about us being efficient. There's other factors that play into it, but I think it's the most critical is our communication, first one on the road. And we've tried to work on that.
When you get where you want to be as a team and as a player, do you get to the point where you embrace playing on the road? Is there something to that challenge that you love?
Yeah, I think that I told the guys this yesterday. I think there's a number of things that when you've played in this league that, man, you miss. And certainly snack the night before the game is one of them. But, man, you miss that locker room. You miss the camaraderie. But, man, there is something about being on the road and being in that with that group of guys, and everybody's on top of you, and nobody wants you there. Nobody wants to see you win or succeed other than your own group. And there's nothing better than, man, just honing in on each other and depending on one another that, man, you're going to do your job, I'm going to do mine, and when you make a play, the crowd just goes silent, and there's nothing better than that. That's the stuff you miss. And so, yeah, you do. And I think the good ones, they really do. They thrive. They thrive on that type of stuff. That's when you could argue they're at their best.
You feel like you as a team are still building that trust of the guy next to you that you just talked about?
Yeah, I do. And I think a game like this goes a long way. I mean, we're going to be tested. And the only way to get better on the road and in a hostile environment is to win on the road in a hostile environment and do the little things. We have to play a clean game, and this can't be we got penalties and flags flying around, and we get all these false starts, and we got holding penalties. And wait, I thought he said MA, palms up. Like, we got to play clean, and that's the most important thing here. We cannot beat ourselves.
Hostile, worse, whatever you want to describe it, I guess, that you played in as a player.
Well, I was the NFC East for a number of years, so it was always going to Philly. There was nothing better than Philly. It was great.
Follow up a superstition question from last week. You wore black pants week 1, gray pants week 2. What are we wearing this week?
What do you think?
I hope gray.
We'll have the gray pants this week. So, not that I'm superstitious. I just feel like we ought to wear gray pants this week.
One other thing with Jeff, you talk all the time about big gains in the run game being, key for the wide receivers to block those, right? But what does it mean when a guy like Jeff has been pretty physical, helping in the run game, and what does it mean when those defensive backs, are a big part of coming up and being physical and helping with the run game?
It's huge, and it's one of those. I don't know. Not everybody sees all the time, unless you're on this team or you're one of the big men up front, because they don't take that lightly. That's a big deal. That, to me, is the equivalent of your receivers blocking on the perimeter if you're O-lineman. Like, there's a respect that comes with that, and I just think there's a ton of respect that happens when those guys know that you're going to come up and tackle. Because, look, a lot of teams, we're no different than anybody else. If we don't think you'll tackle on the perimeter, we'll just gap it all out, take care of the D-line, the backers, and just leave the corner free and say, we'll come up and tackle. And there's nothing worse than you bounce it out and the corner's not willing to tackle. If you're all those D linemen who are digging into double teams and sticking your face in the gap one more time, and then you're not coming up and tackling, you'll lose respect in a hurry for that guy. So our guys will come up and hit, they'll tackle, and I know our D line appreciates that.
All right. Thank you, guys.